trio, especially with Savage added to the mix, having someone obviously like Azar of his caliber and Gratisfaction as well now, who's got that international experience, is crazy, man.
Yeah, I guess you would say they've only had IGLs who they've had to bring up with the team. They haven't had someone who's had to go together. Actually, it does look like we're ready to get in towards the game, so I'm going to click the button. I'm going to flip us over, and Conky, we are ready to start off, I guess you would call the debut of Azar and Gratisfaction back in OCE soil.
It's exciting, man. The debutantes. And also, I'm casting in Stretch. This makes my life so much better when Komodo's on the stick. So, starting out on Vertigo, very, very exciting one ahead of us. Of course, it'll be Ins to take that mid control. Looks like Vexite's going to be playing over towards B with Sicko. So that's another thing to take focus on, guys. The roles of Not Greyhound have swapped up quite heavily. Encore starting on that T side, and it looks like a little bit of aggression over towards the bottom of B.
Yeah, and just as a quick little housekeeping, if you guys do see that the game audio or our audio levels are a bit iffy, can you please let me know, because I will be able to change them. But in toward the game, it does look like a lot of this information is gathered by Not Greyhound over towards this B-side Mitch.
Side, trying to hold on as best as possible, basically giving the information. Sicko spotted by the molly, but actually a couple of frags. Leas is going to join the fray. In's also there, and all left on Sterling. So a very, very clean and quick and concise retake from the Not Greyhound boys as they, pretty much flood the B side before they even get a chance to plant. Encore go down, 3 alive.
Yeah, it was a good push through middle. Good little quick wraparound as well to get all the information, and that's the proactiveness that we want to be seeing from these teams, right? Because there is a lot, I would say, riding on this matchup, right? It's a showcase for Azar to see how they can build something with this team moving forward. We don't know what's going to happen. As we mentioned, you know, this is the thing to get back on the international stage. What would it be to be able to see an Oceanic representative at Rio? It would be massive. Yeah.
And, you know, with those 2 spots, definitely a chance, you know, who it's actually going to be, given the fact that this opening match is such a struggle, such a challenge. It is going to be really exciting to see who comes through. So, Alistair with a bit of a march, holding it clean. Sicko the only one to go down, farming the cash up. So it's going to be a really, really nice position. However, on court, it's going to be that first gun round. This is going to be the one that tells the tale. And yeah, I think the biggest focus for you all watching along at home will just purely be in everyone has watched enough of Encore and also, you know, now Not Greyhound. But look how the roles have changed so far already. And I'm interested to see what Encore's offense is going to look like playing around Azar with such a short amount of time.
No, exactly right. Guns are going to be coming up into this 3rd round as well. And you can see that Alistair has picked up the AWP. So an opening pick for Not Greyhound in this round would be pretty big to start off the ranks of this CT side. It's going to be Ins pushing down the stairs, punished by Gratisfaction, and this will be a little bit of a fallback you would expect. Meet with the boys. But again, this AWP from Alistair, it's always going to be scary, and that's a slow allocation, but he still gets the job done.
How does he get out? That's crazy. If he gets away with this, Vexite also on that forward position, allowing him out definitely gives the extra time, but it looks like Azar is going to be able to find it. Azar getting that opening as well. Now the Molotov on towards the site. Sicko should be able to buy a little bit of time, but only a minute 15 ticking down, so there's still plenty of time for Encore to work their way in here.
Oh, Sicko, he'd love an upgrade right now from this MP9. Get over towards the rifle and over to Azar. Bit of damage on towards Sicko, but this bomb plant starts to go down. It's Azar to try and hold it with Savage, and now just Leas found, taken care of. Encore on the board.
Nicely done. Exactly what Encore needed. 2 alive is a very, very good position to be in. But they will have to do a little bit of juggling to ensure as many AKs to come in. Maybe a Galil to be picked up here for Gratisfaction. It will ensure that utility to come on in. And a full eco here for Not Greyhounds. Vexite does have a little bit of extra cash. He wants to be sending that AWP over to Alistair, however. So they'll just give it time for now.
It was a big investment in the last round as well with that AWP from Alistair. Able to find 1. And now that's been done. Encore not happy with that one. They need it on toward the T side. Lots of util. This should be one of those clear-cut rounds. And maybe it gives a bit of a tell as well on how Not Greyhound are going to be playing this CT side. They're grouping up around the B site once more. Bit of a push in, bit of a peek in Gratisfaction. But he dies to the default USP of Alistair. Wow.
Getting away with murder once more. Very, very important opening pick because that's called for the full rotation around to A, and that is exactly where Encore are starting to line themselves up. They are still going to go for the utility set irrespective of it. Now they get that move on in. It is going to be planned down. Nice little shot there from Hazard. He will spot out Sicko as well. So Hazard on the cleanup crew does send his way back to short. He has also copying a whole lot of damage as well here. The Molotov just not quite enough to tick through, but look, this should just be business as usual here for Encore. Make sure they keep as many alive as possible and not allow Not Greyhound to kind of, you know, scratch that economy at all.
That's exactly right. See what Ins can do with this Galil. He's just going to fancy the save in toward the next round with that one. And I don't blame him, right? You want to have some CT economy balanced out as well. Just a bit of a hunt on from Hazza right now. See if he can get a bit of extra cash. Most important, you want to hold this weapon. And he will be able to get away with this one. Maybe not. Bomb's going to explode and potentially take him. So run away. Mitch, we're going to be tied up 2-2. And this is the big round that I want to see coming, right? I want to see everybody with the proper guns in their possession. Great on.
Yeah.
And
right at the end.
Look, we're still going to get a purchase from everybody, which is fine. But this is the round that I was kind of waiting for, right? We saw a little bit of that investment, that over-investment, one could argue, in the third round to come through from Not Greyhound. But this is the big one. Everyone's got the rifles. You've got the AWP from Alistair there as well. Lots of utility to assist for everybody.
So that's the key factor. AWP for Alistair. As we know, loves a bit of an aggressive play around that A position on towards the ramp. So they are just going to slow walk. Usual default, try and poke and prod here. Alistair forced away. But it's still that kind of set default for now.
Yep.
No real push. Mid-control gathered.
And it's going to be a bit of a fallback as well from Ins. You got a bit of pushing in from Liaz. A bit of a how do you do, but the real focus is on Sicko to hold down 1 and 2. That's the bomb. Savage taken down to half HP, and Sterling nowhere to be able to protect him. And now he's alone in this 1 versus 4. Is able to find the first one on towards Ins, but how much more damage is he going to be able to find?
Yeah, if he finds Vexite here, this could be massive. Also dropping Alistair. All of a sudden, they do start to drop like flies here. And as we know, on that CT side, not exactly the best there for Not Greyhound. Orp also not recovered. So the economy is going to be a little bit lackluster here. They'll have to play a different style of aggression. But I did like that from Sicko, you know, getting down in towards the B position, nice and low, and taking down 2 to drop the bomb. So that pushes Encore back onto an eco position. Really now onto Not Greyhound to make sure they keep as many alive as possible. Start to, you know, put a little bit of extra cash into that coffer. What's the drop going to look like? Okay, they've got enough. They can work through it. Yep, it's going to be A-okay, but Encore, if they do some damage here, they could certainly continue to apply that pressure, because look at the force that's coming in here. Yeah,
and we got a match pause as well, so just make sure that we're getting all the time to sort things out. That's going to be called out. And the force from Encore, I kind of would expect something a little bit more forward thinking from them as well, right? More hastily in towards the B site, potentially. We've seen Sicko drop down to the stairs and he got a bit of action done, so Encore could be expecting that. They know that playing over at that quad girder, that there's been a little bit of a hideout, so there's a bit of information that Encore can start to build with in how to plan attacks back in toward this one. They're doing a different strategy than what I guess foresee right now, but this is the best thing about Counter-Strike. It's these guys showing what they can do in this game, and I love this proactiveness from Not Greyhound, already pushing down scaffolding to make sure that there's battle pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah, very forward position here. Encore obviously with this buy-in, trying to make sure that they keep the Not Greyhound economy as honest as possible. The flash in is going to start to be the aggression. They have actually already started to send their way back a little bit. Vexite does cop the info, but with that nade, it does make it a little bit awkward. Vexite overstepping, 4 HP. Traded onto Azza, who does go now quite low, but in spotted, he's heard, and that's the aggression now that can start to come through here from Encore. We are going to have to see a little bit of extra support from Alistair, but look at this already. Encore just starting to walk away.
Got away with the first pick, an upgrade for Sterling. This could look quite damaging. You want to see a bit of a push, a bit of a peek in from Not Greyhound, but at the same time, if it happens to go over towards this B side, it's all eyes on Sicko. So with 45 seconds to go, Not Greyhound still sold in the fact that it is going to be towards this A site. The utility will give it away, and now all of the utility is used from Encore.
Straight on in Alistair's position, very bold, but does get spotted. That gun barrel sticking out. Hazza also trying to go over the top, but they are managing to slow them down a little bit. 30 seconds, not exactly all the time that they could be wanting. 3 flashbangs available now. And some damage also exchanged through the smoke. Encore have done a fantastic job here so far, but Savage on that rail does get spotted. This is a 3 versus 5 situation, now down to the 3 on 4. And utilizing those flashbangs as best as possible into the lane now. We will see some aggression in, but it's just going to be so hard. They've done well, but Liaz, they does go fishing now. Tapping onto the bomb, walking on in. Sterling does manage to get another. It's going to be all on the Liaz to see what he can do. Dropping down Azza, 2 versus 2. They've got to get onto that bomb very quickly though. Sicko gets another, and Sterling, will he be taken? Not quite. I don't know if there's enough time. There's not. He's done enough. The kit is in hand, but there's no time. And even with a 4K, Encore managed to stop down the Hound.
Yeah, and you got to think as well, that was the justification of the Force, right? They get away with the round even though they all lose their lives. They've got enough money to kind of go at it again, so it is going to be the battle of attrition, and this is what I made mention to early on for Not Greyhound. They want to see the management of their economy, and for right now, both teams are kind of feeling the weight of that right now. 3 rounds apiece, no AWP potential to get out in the hands of Alistair again, but for Encore, they have a lot more depth towards their purchase in this round than the likes of Not Greyhound. So I'm expecting a little bit of close quarters actions from the CT side right now. Alistair has a Mag 7, which could be quite funny if a battle presents itself there. But a bit of a peek over towards the A side of things for the time being. Vexite, Alistair, over towards the side hole. Ins to buy a bit of time, afford a little bit of a peek for Vexite.
Very big amounts of back and forth already in the opener here. Again, such an exciting game, you know, to see this as first and fourth seed is a pretty crazy prospect. Vexite very, very low now in the side lane. Just going to have to drop back. Ins with that Deagle, going to be able to take the M4 away. Also has the extra utility. They have managed to buy a little bit of time. That Mac 10 a little bit scary, but has a great shot there onto Alistair, making it a 4 versus 5. Bomb will be recovered by Gratisfaction now as he creeps around back towards the ramp. They have had all their success so far towards the A side here on Core, Vex side. In an awkward situation, it's really going to be on to Ins to see what he can do here, Komodo.
It's indeed the correct expectation, I guess you would say right here. Vexite to potentially cause a little bit of a ruckus with the Mag 7 now, as Alistair did lose his life. 30 seconds to go, and Azza, oh, he might get caught out with util here. Just misses out on the shot, and he's going to get taken down. Now it is on to Ins, as you mentioned.
Smokes down. The spam not yet securing. Very awkward situation here. Maybe even worth a save for Not Greyhound. And you can see that they've already made the call. Ins tries to get out. He does manage to find it, but look at this forward positioning from Gratisfaction. Doesn't want to quite go over the end. So yeah, look, this is the old classic, the CT-sided economy game that Not Greyhound have been playing, and Encore have very much had them. Pacing has been set nicely. This is Encore's map selection, of course. Inferno, not too far away. And I'm wondering, you know, Inferno's been an interesting map for Encore over the time. You know, they had some good moments in Europe where they were able to do some serious damage, but they are one of those teams that can kind of fall apart a little bit on the CT side. However, with the experience from Gratisfaction and Azza, you know, maybe that has already changed quickly.
Well, that's one of the big things that I want to talk about as well, right? Given the fact that we saw a different roster earlier this week for Encore, how much time have they had to prepare with Azza and with Gratisfaction? Because we're expecting different calling to come out from them, a different IGL, Azza to potentially take the charge. I don't know, and you might be able to correct me, if APOC is actually sitting in coach slot, because they can't use coaches for this, right?
No, correct. But as far as I'm aware, that is the goal. So originally it was always going to be that thing where Azza comes in, swaps out for Licky, takes up the IGL role. But there has been, you know, rumblings. I think APOC wants to step back, take a bit more of a, you know, management or coaching role alongside the Encore roster, the org, sorry, rather. So, you know, he can move into a little bit more of an administration position. Yeah, look, plenty of damage being dealt. There you go. They find it. This is excellent already from Encore. They're looking fantastic so far.
2 weapons in tow for Not Greyhound. So still potential for Sicko and Liaz to be able to find something back, but some great little, you know, cohesion from Azza and from Savage in the get-go. Hazza now just climbing up for 1.5. Definitely a chance for Encore to peel away with this first half and make it something a little bit more destructive. But you're never going to count out the Not Greyhound squad, of course, Conky.
Yeah, Sicko in a good position here, but if they clear it double, he does actually move his way towards B. A minute left on the clock. Still got so much time to work this out. You can already see that Not Greyhound have made the call to stack towards B. So they have a level of a read here. However, Encore's positioning, you know, they can swap out at any time. Maybe take a bit of a different approach here. Liaz's position is huge. Eyes are already taken down, and they are making the move. They are having a look. Liaz, though, can't quite find it. All on the Vex side, and he's done and dusted. So there we have it. Encore taking a 5th, but of course that just was a somewhat level of an eco there from Not Greyhound. They do have the cash in the bank now. Alistair, if he picks up that AWP, it will be a glass cannon. So still haven't exactly found their feet so far, Not Greyhound. And, you know, this is the sort of interesting contrast that we can see, right? Both these teams are not quite settled. We come around to the corner with DreamHack only a week away. We know Hats is going to have to be playing with Not Greyhound for that. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for both these squads.
No, definitely so. And as you mentioned, it would have had to be a glass cannon AWP for Alistair. They've chosen to go with that route at the moment. He's currently going to be positioned over at the A side of things right now, but it does look like Encore want to be pitching themselves through towards mid once more.
And there's that boost. Are they going to be ready for it? Has been done silently. Only the one member there in Gratisfaction. Alistair not quite finding the right amount of timing. Great Molotov will force him off, but Ali's happy to peek through that one. Very comfortable, as we know. So that's a great opening pick there. Encore have managed to find the first frag in the last couple of rounds, so exactly what Not Greyhound needed.
Bit of a silent creep up, though, towards this A side of things, and it is where most of the Not Greyhounds wait is at the moment. 3 players here. Encore creeping. 2 smokes. A flash and some mollies as well, starting to rain on in.
Usual set of utility now. In's already being spammed up, but he does manage to get the opener. Vexite with another. So it does make down the position Encore a little bit weaker, but they know exactly where In's is. Great nade. It's going to keep him on check. But he's just going to wait. The rest of the team will start to make their way in. Has up forward, thinking, but tagged up. Leaz already having an absolute steamer here on Vertigo so far, and now they leave it all on a Sterling 1v4. Certainly winnable. No kits here, no utility to block off the smoke, but I think In's on the line. Right eye peek, and cheeky little dink. Closes the round. 4 alive. Very, very nice result there from Not Greyhound, but still Encore holding on to that lead. You know, they've got cash in the bank, Komodo, to fight another fight.
Yeah, and stealing away a couple of AK-47s as well. You're always going to be chuffed with that one. Steal those weapons and hit those headshots. It's one of the biggest things where, you know, everybody always talks about crosshair position and headshots. How are you going to win the game, per se? Just shoot them in the head? Well, yeah, that's one thing. But right now, we're seeing a lot of great calling come through. We're seeing a lot of great proactiveness from both of these squads. Another purchase round to come on through. And this is going to showcase to us what the depth of this pool is looking like at the moment from Encore. They've chosen to go into Vertigo in this matchup with 2, you know, new players technically toward this roster. So already a big shake-up. Maybe not the map that the Not Greyhound squad would be expecting to come through as the selection here.
I think it's like this veto settles into both of these teams' comfort zones. You know, only adding in the 2 new members in Grad and Azza, like it just sort of pads out a little bit further even for them. Certainly picking, you know, Vertigo into this roster of Not Greyhound is quite a bold statement. But then again, you know, you sort of sit back and go, okay, well, both these teams are pretty comfortable across the whole pool. You know, maybe that Inferno pick is the one that could potentially catch up Encore a little more, but that's the thing. These 10 players know each other so well. So this is a big one. Like, you know, looking into the start of the competition, like who is going to be dropping into that lower bracket? Double elim, 4 teams. You know, there's opportunity for both to get into the grand final, but one of them's going to have to do a lower bracket run. And
this map was played in their first open qualifier where they did battle against each other. 16-13 over towards Encore, so a pretty close one. So one could argue, you know, it technically would be expected, but a different rendition of the map with these new roster members.
Yeah, the biggest question's definitely going to be, you know, how much impact has Azza had in about a week's time? You know, coming off a long flight, getting into position, but we'll talk about that later because Leaz, again, he is having a steamer right now, 13-4. And they are changing up the positions a little bit. You know, Leaz typically is that B-site anchor. However, they were kind of letting Sicko lean over that way a little bit more. Sterling now trying to take a bit of further mid control, but they're pumping the brakes a little bit, not looking to throw themselves too far forward. Still a minute left on the clock, Komodo.
Well, there's a big problem right now, and that's the utility. Encore, they're starting to dwindle themselves down with that one. It's a good pick from Sterling on towards Alistair, and breaking in towards this B site. What is this? Making a mockery of what was the B area, and now it's Vexite just by his loads himself, wondering where his team has gone. Encore, even with no utility, Mitch, great timing, great crosshair placement, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, a really great entry in towards this B site, locking down the rest of the round with only Sterling losing his life after.
Well, it was so, like, that round was perfect from Encore. Brute forcing their way in, you know, they were a member down. There was 3 members already looking to lock down that B site from Not Greyhound. And once again, you know, we continue to play the economy game. There is not a good position once more for the Hounds. They're going to have to lean in to just a gentle eco, maybe some light pistols to come out. And that's not exactly a round that they shy away from, but no Kevlar is going to make it awkward. So this should be Encore picking up a 7th, right? And, you know, not exactly having a stable position to bounce back out of the Hounds. Ali should have the AWP, but will he have Kevlar? That's another question.
Oh.
And he's already gone in the round. So it's going to be that slow walk in. Another bit of damage down. Hazard did cop the dink, but it's already, again, a really solid position here from Encore. Now Ian's looking to walk on in with a 5-7. I think he'll get spotted as well. Sterling looking right onto the prize there. Info gathered. There it is. Done and dusted. And Encore, again, already they're showing brilliant signs with this current 5.
I think one of the biggest things to say about them, and I'm going to steal one of your favorite words, it's confidence, right? It's the confidence to go together as a team. It's confidence to have each other's back. These set plays that we're seeing come out of Encore, even when they're player behind, they're still managing to find what they need to do to get back into the rounds. And speaking of, I was going to make mention of the fact that you say, you know, not Greyhound, they're coming in with an eco. It should be Encore's round. Wouldn't it be funny if we see the classic Oce thing where you lose toward the pistols?
Always a potential. Sicko does have the rifle now, moving into position, but Gratisfaction will make quick work. Liaz had the gems, a little bit too hard. They're in the flames, and Encore pick up 7. Not quite enough time for the plant money, so that's okay. But yeah, look, this is a really, really clean and concise half so far from Encore. They're trading well, they're moving into position well, they're, you know, not setting too fast of a pace or anything like that. Sterling and Hazard leading the charge, 11 and 10. You know, no one really kind of lagging behind. Gratisfaction yet to have much impact, but we'll see that, I'm sure, onto the CT side. That's going to be the interesting factor as well. You know, is he going to pick up the primary rifle and allow Sterling to kind of feel his way out, who, you know, is typically going to be better on the AWP than the rifle? We'll have to find out. Time will tell.
Oh, it's a big peak. It's a big duel for Liaz to be able to win. He is the only current person at this B site. You got Sicko playing on the plat, which is close in proximity, and a push up from Azza. He's seen the utility out from Liaz, but oh, he spotted the backpack. He's going to win that a second for Liaz in this round. And now everything translates over towards the A side as well, and it's just trades coming through. Not Greyhound looking to take control of this one.
Back to a 3-on-2. Liaz weakened earlier from the 2 picks towards that B site. Ins going down after a 1 and done. Spotted out Sterling, burning down though. Alistair has to be sent away by that Molotov. A little bit split, but Savage not too far behind. He's going to be able to join the fray very, very soon. Still a whole minute left on the clock. Every member is here, but forward thinking from Sterling. Maybe just not seeing Sicko behind the back of that smoke. A cheeky one-way now. Savage 1 and 3. We did see one in the quarrels, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. As we do finally see, again, not Greyhound, back on the board. Another round secured. 3 alive. They'll be able to drop over nicely. Ali still with the AWP in hand. The spread of frags, even except for Liaz, 16 and 6.
Yeah.
He has just been a demon on towards that B site. Like, Encore have only found success there once so far. It has very much been the old A offense that's got them done. But overall, you know, they're looking diverse. They have a wider book of like assets so far from what we can see and where they're going and how they're playing, and really sort of making Not Greyhound be much more proactive in their CT-sided defense.
Look at this lockout already over towards the B stairs. Complete control from Not Greyhound, and you've got the standard set of utility going over towards the ramp at the moment from Encore. Somehow, you do have Hazard push all the way up, and a bit of a flash in will allow Vexite to have a bit of a battle. They're going to win that over towards Hazard as well at Scaff. 5 HP to spare to fall away with. Now the onus is definitely on Encore to get back in towards this one, because we're looking at a situation where Not Greyhound are behind. They're going to be charging for that lead back, and it is very plausible to see an 8-7.
Okay. Even there, you can see the change in the, you know, bit of a shuffle. Alistair swapping over Vexite. Bogdan's Law. Vexite says no. Ali, you're better off with it. And I like that. I respect it. You know, maybe it's not the right decision, but at least they've made that decision. Call is there. Utility has been dumped though now, so 50 seconds left as the rotation does start to come through. Loving this position from Ins though, has managed to get to the sandbags very late in the round. Now a flash in towards the ramp, that'll allow the peak. Ins has a bit of a look-see, but they're still just holding. Encore, making sure that the second guessing does start to come in. There's a great trade there from Gratisfaction. Now Sicko has to start moving in. 30 seconds left here, Komodo, for the offense.
They've only got smokes as well. No flashes, no mollies to try and push out positions, no blinding on towards that AWP in Alistair's hands right now. And that's going to be very damaging over towards it. Gratisfaction, a one-tap over toward his face. It has to be the entry to get in toward this round. The plant starts to go down, and he's reading 50 Shades Hound right now. Not Greyhound, it's gotten me. Gratisfaction is going absolutely above and beyond right now. Now he knows where Sicko is. Hungry for the A. Savage hiding at the sandbags, and I think he's going to steal it away from him.
That should have never been around, going the way of Encore, but Gratisfaction, ice in his veins, making his way through the site And I guess they didn't hear him ticking onto that Molotov, right? He was taking damage from the fire, but, you know, pushes his way in, catches Vexite on the reload. And unfortunately, yeah, Encore once again for not Greyhound. They've just been overwhelmed and looking great. Like, that's all I can continue to double down on. Like, big individual performance there from Gratisfaction, but I guess you'd expect no less from the man with the experience.
Yeah, no, for sure. We got a bit of a knee taken here for not Greyhound back on towards the pistols, which unfortunately we've seen a lot of in this half as well. The fickle economy of that CT side. Bit of mid exploration right now from Encore as they start to peek out of scaffolding up towards the A ramp. A lot of HE grenades for not Greyhound. Maybe we expect a bit of a stacking from them. Try to tickle some members of Encore.
So again, another very, very slowed position. Nice and concise on court, not feeding into the not Greyhound squad. Giving it all the time in the world. A minute left, plenty of util. Only the one HE for ins.
I think you just have to be careful of the time here if you are Encore as well. You don't want to be walking into these pistols when they are looking to do exactly that. AK isn't going to be grenaded into Inns' hands. He's going to get one in return. And they are just battling for side hall control right now. Another big shot out from Inns. A third would be absolute massacre. He's going to get taken down. Great spray from Gratisfaction, who started to really shine into his name in this one. And now Justly as 1 versus 3. See what damage you can do before getting into the last round of this half.
They're just trading well. It's so nice to see. Encore really, really stepping up to the fray here. 9 rounds secured. Obviously moving over to that next side as well. CT side a little bit easier on this map of Vertigo. Even Liaz has been somewhat silenced in these last few rounds, so it will be that final buy of the half and not Greyhound. All M4s. No AWP for Alistair. They will be leaning in accordingly. Encore continuing to toy with them, showing that this roster definitely means business. And yeah, you know, exactly right, hey?
Yeah.
As we should expect. It's more a question of what are they going to look like after they've actually had some time to progress, you know, into these tournaments towards the end of the year.
That's one of the biggest things, is right. Roster stability is something that is going to be plaguing both of these squads for quite a bit, right? So they kind of have, I wouldn't say leniency, but I think a little just more pressure. Maybe you could say leniency over towards them. Savage is already up all the way through mid on this pincer attack towards the A site. Alistair and Vexite are down, and now it's only on towards Inns to see if he can hold it down. He's taken. This is just Encore fragging.
It's like great. A completely different roster. You know, all the trades, you just saw that position. Hazard and Savage straight through the mid-smoke, all the control in the world. And the craziest thing, Komodo, is they had each other's backs. You saw that Hazard already had that position on towards the A site, flank being held by Savage, everything just looking super nice and super clean for Encore. Having a 10-5 start on a map like this is excellent. However, with that halftime swap, you know, it could always potentially plague that Australian CS moment where we see the T side actually looking a little bit easier. But, you know, we know not Greyhound to be a very, very solid CT-sided team on Vertigo. So the map pick for Encore, it's looking correct so far.
All right, so it does look like we don't get too much of a halftime break, which is good. I was wondering, you know, if we have to throw it to a break or anything. So glad to see that we are back into the thick of things straight away. 10-5, Mitch. T-side is quite a commanding lead, right? So it's one of these biggest things for Encore. As you mentioned, their map pick to try and close it out from here to really just make this map look cleaner than it did in their opening run. Now we have a match pause. Have I just jinxed it?
Time will tell. But yeah, look, I guess we use this time now to sort of break down what we've seen. Again, I've kind of already, you know, run through it a few times, just seeing how Encore look to be much more confident at this point in time. Happy to kind of do the little duo game. You know, they've got each other's backs. The trades have been fantastic. And yeah, look, again, early days. There's really not much to kind of break down. Understanding for everyone watching along at home, the roster move for Az's addition has been in the works for quite some time now. Obviously a big ask for him to come back to the local scene. You know, a man that has been looking for a spot for quite some time. You know, one of the most successful Australian players to come out. The only one to sort of rise above was JKS in his little run at Katowice. of course.
Now on G2.
Yep, now on G2. So you were sort of always questioning, you know, what was going to happen to Azza? What was going to happen to Grat? Liaz was the first one to come back home, joining into this current roster, which is now, you know, back to not Greyhound. We'll see what happens with that little saga. Vexite, the recent addition. So to have Azza come in, you know, he's only been back in the roster, I think, for 4 or 5 days, I believe. He only actually just got back to Australia about a week ago. And Gratisfaction only was a even more recent addition in the last couple of days. So Apox stepping back, bit more of a coaching / administrative role alongside the Encore brand. And now really it's just about growing Encore into a, you know, desirable organization.
Just for those wondering what this pause was about as well, it's not a generic halftime pause. We do just need to get the server reset and medicked. So we are waiting for an admin just to push that through. And then we'll wait for the match time to tick on back as well in towards this one. But I guess for the bracket as a whole, right, we got a little bit of time pre-show to talk about how things are looking. On the flip side, Rooster versus DGG, of course, we're going to be covering the winners match of these two series tonight later. How's it looking? All right, you've put me on the spot. Let me jump into it. 10 to 5 half. Myself. So their veto is, yeah, Inferno, Dust 2, Vertigo, and DGG are a 10 to 5 lead.
So there you go. So DGG have actually had a pretty solid CT-sided start. Very similar scoreline to what we're witnessing right now, except the opposite of the sides. So that's still an interesting position. You know, Viridian obviously more so picking up the AWP over Chelios. Chelios giving him the space. That roster will likely change. Val is playing as well. Is that correct?
Yep.
There you go. Wow. That's a nasty roster. Jeez.
Indeed.
ASAP clearly not. Oh, okay. Maybe it's Val subbing in for ASAP because ASAP typically has soccer on the weekends. Not sure.
Anyway, I guess you should probably say it's Valhalla, not Valiant.
Valhalla. Yes, correct. That is one that has been plaguing us all. He is a very, very sharp gamer indeed. So yeah, look, that's going to be a serious one as well. Like, you know, the seeding kind of meant because of the RMR points, the way the qualifier worked. We did see some really heavy hitters on one side of the bracket. So I think it was actually in the end, Vertex, Encore, and Order all on the same side.
In the first bracket, like the first open qual, it was Encore and Order on the same side and Vertex on the other side.
Vertex, yes, that's right. Exactly.
Vertex lost out to Morbin 5. Not in a close series either, from memory.
Yeah. TGG taking that pistol away, so yeah. Just letting the match medic occur right now. Alistair back into the server.
Cool.
Should not be too long before we see a resume to the game. 10-5 half. Encore starting off really, really strong. Not Greyhound. Really just battling against the economy. There was 4 or 5 ecos into that previous half as well.
I guess one thing that I wouldn't mind hearing from the viewers out there is, who do you guys actually predict for this series? Who do you guys think coming into this would be able to take the dub? Because that's something that we didn't talk about either here, Mitch.
No,
we didn't. Coming into this one, who were you kind of feeling?
I was always, you know, purely just on the basis of the fact that Encore are dealing with more change. You know, that sort of made me potentially think that we might see a 2-1 going the way of not Greyhound. But if Encore are starting off this strong, and if we see some consistency throughout the series, that could potentially change around. But it was very much a coin flip, you know, going into this one and saying if there's a clear leader. I completely disagree. Both these teams are really, really competitive. I think we saw Dexter in the chat mention it before. You know, it was always, and for the last couple of years, it has just been straight up, who's the top seed? Pretty much not Greyhound, right? Like that's... It's been proven regularly that they've been winning all of the local events. They've been winning the qualifying events as well, representing overseas. And not many other teams have really had an opportunity as a result of that, except for the earlier in the year where Encore, formerly known as LFO, had that run over in Europe, got into some tier 2. Vertex also a brief stint too. But the unfortunate situation for Vertex has just been like, haven't been able to secure a solid 5.
Yeah. one of those things where roster stability is, again, you know, something that we really want to be able to just fine-tune moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, we have mediced into the server, so we are back into audit. Shout out to the admin team. It didn't take half an hour, which is, you know, that was relatively quick. I think 10 minutes total.
That's all right.
With the half.
We had time to talk. It was a halftime break.
Yeah, it was a halftime break. That's exactly right. All right, I'm going to lower the music and turn that off because we don't need that anymore. Don't even know if you guys at home could hear that. But regardless, in towards the fresh pistol. Not Greyhound now over towards the T side, and they are having a bit of a waltz down the mid of the map. Ins over towards the A ramp by himself.
So as they're having a spot, In's already caught out. We'll have to look to pop away for now. The dink up onto Gratisfaction. Very, very early damage now. Mid-control coming out. An awesome flash from Grad. Has been traded. Liaz gets it, but there's Hazard with a second as well. The defense is looking awesome, and now they pressure into mid, but they have hesitated slightly. The lockdown's looking fantastic here. Savage gets one for his own and a second. Oh my god, crispy as you like. Encore, they win the pistol, but with dominance.
Yeah, you see.
And 4 alive is a huge position.
Yeah, you see early on as well, Gratisfaction gets dinked down to like 11 or 12 HP, falls back, uses the flash to allow a great little peek up on top of the platform. Hazard takes him a bit to find the pick, but he gets it, drops the bomb, and the rest of the team just, you know, cohesively gets the shots done that they need to. A couple of crisp one-taps to actually come through from Savage there as well. So you absolutely love to see it. Pistol round over towards Encore. Should set themselves up to be able to win this one as well. It is just the full blocks to come through for Not Greyhounds. Shaping up definitely for, you know, following that strong first half here in the second.
Who won the first pistol? I really should know that. So should you.
Take a guess, Mitch. Take a guess.
It was Encore, yes? No, it was Not Greyhound, so this is rough. Look at him go. Marching in like matchmaking.
Like matchmaking.
It is.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just the Glocks in the end.
Yeah,
and
I know,
all
but
shut
they're
down.
still doing it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is the time, though. Third round in the half. This is where the guns will start to come on through. And this is where we really need to see something come through for Not Greyhound, right? We make mention again, they were very plagued on their CT side with the weaponry, the economy not going their way. A couple of times we got to see Alistair with the AWP, but it didn't really work out too hard. A couple of picks here and there. Already a good little bolstering of the economy for Encore, given by the fact that they just survived with 5 in that second round there. 4 in the first one. Liaz already punishing on towards Savage at B ramp here. Hazard wants to try and escape. Gonna upgrade himself on the weaponry as well. Want to see Not Greyhound follow this one from here to close and establish themselves back into this game.
I actually can't believe that I forgot that Not Greyhound won the pistol. There you go.
Yeah,
so
there was 2 kills from Encore.
That's the stat that I'm leading into here, right? Like, very important information. They won 3 of the first 5 rounds. So to only be in this position, starting on that CT side, a little bit rough. Gratisfaction pushing in, just a distraction at this point in time, though. Sterling does get the trade away. Advantage still going the way of Not Greyhound. However, there is still an opportunity to drag this one back. Utility in hand for Azza. Another big thing, you know, that European experience, holding onto your utility for most of the round. In spotted, Molotov goes up to the hump, and that will force Ins away. So they are now poised outside B, looking to take that aggression. And it's going to be a big task onto Hazard, who we've already seen him looking sharp to start.
In towards the site, looking for the clearance as well. Hazard going to be taken down. Great executions to come through from Liaz. This round should be done and dusted with just Sterling having a little bit of a waltz around to see what damage he can get out now. Ins is kind of doing the same, on for a bit of a hunt right now. But Mitch, this is one of the biggest things we wanted to see, right? We need to see some clean rounds start to come through for Not Greyhounds. And there you go. 4 alive will help them into the next.
Absolutely. And now I've received some information during this time. So Azza flew in Sunday. He's been here for less than a week, so obviously take into account jet lag. But he'd been playing with the team in MM for a few weeks on 300 ping, purely on the basis to start getting used to feeling how the boys play. So clearly this has been in the works for a little while, and I think that is very, very impressive that they're already looking this comfortable with each other.
Very good to hear. That's what you want coming in towards, I guess what you would say is such an important event as well, making sure that you got everything in order. Opening pick goes the way of Not Greyhound here. Alistair taken down to 16 HP in the mix. It was a question you were asking earlier, Mitch. Who would be picking up the AWP for Encore? Gratisfaction.
There it
Finding
is.
a Vexite as well.
Definitely will lean into that double AWP CT-sided setup. Map dependent, of course, but Grat to get the trade out. Now very, very even Stevens in the half. Minute left on the clock. Plenty of time to work with. Savage holding mid. A little bit of an extra smoke from Hazza. So the weaker weaponry on that side, you know, Not Greyhound find this one. They break that economy. They can start to finally fight the good fight over time, but still Encore. Plenty of a chance to hold. Single flash for Azza. Where's it going to be used? That's the question.
And such an important one as well, because the single flash from Azza could net a result. Finding advantage back in toward this round for Encore. Justify it in the force. There's no kits as well, so if the plant does go down, might be a little bit more difficult. Let's try and get a retake in with nothing. Hazza going to be flushed out from all this utility. Does have his teammate here as well in Savage. Try and assist him. Try to bunker down on this B site. But the bomb is happening over the other side right now. Inns gets legged by Grat and he gets finished too.
Jeez.
It's working.
Way too slow. Way too slow. 15 seconds left and Not Greyhound have to save. The nades did nothing to Hazza at all, not being able to clear him out of the cubby. And this is not a good position for Not Greyhound to be in at all. They will have a buy into this next, but on the hunt, are they going to find him potentially? No. So they do take the rifles into the next, but it's again, Not Greyhound without the team dynamic to make their way to a site and just falling apart with a few seconds left in the round.
Quite a rough finish for how that round plays out when you think that the advantage is over towards Not Greyhound with all the weaponry. It's a force up from Encore where Gratisfaction with the AWP. All right, he finds a pick.
Well needed, I think.
Maybe to get back into water. He finishes off Inns as well. And then Azza, you know, you make mention of that flash earlier on. He just finds the pick without needing to really rely on it. So a round swindled away, I would say, is the way that one plays out for Encore. 13 on the board. We've got the saving grace of another purchase to come through for Not Greyhound. As you mentioned, the pause is here to make sure they get all their thoughts in order.
Komodo.
No.
Okay, he's muted. Never mind. He'll be
I've
back.
muted myself to Mitch, apparently.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened. There we go.
I looked over and I was like, hang on a sec. I can't tell if I need to talk or... Were you talking?
I was. So we're all good.
Very good. I didn't interrupt then. That's fine. All right, back to it. Full buy. Lackluster utility. Inns Vexite, not a whole lot to work with at all. Now as they do try, take a little bit of further ramp control. There is that creep up mid. Sterling on the line. Traded well. So back to that commentary we had before, Komodo. Sterling picking up the primary. Maybe it was off spawn. I don't know. Not really crazily important. Flash over the top a little bit early from Vexite. Straight into the claws of Savage. Hazza also there. Sicko in a very, very awkward situation. Awesome flash from Hazza. And again, the team dynamic continues to look strong. Now they have to force their way up the B ramp.
Just a little bit of a tickle on towards Liaz. Mitch, this is just a complete shutdown from Encore. This is
great
no team dynamic. No utility indeed from Not Greyhound. They need to come out with a bit of magic here.
Certainly not a stranger to a lower bracket run, but it's early days to be calling something like that. But it's 14 rounds for Encore. Certainly not the scoreline I was expecting in any way, shape, or form. You know, the start that we had, it was 5-5, a very, very close run. 5-5. That's right. I do remember. And then Encore very much started to run away with it. Not Greyhound have just not really been able to find much at all. They win that first gun rounds. They get an opening pick, but just like look at the scoreline. That's like on the frags rather on the side of Encore.
Well, you make mention
doing his bit.
You make mention to Liaz earlier, right? When he was running amok, 16 kills, leading the charge. He's up to 21, still kind of miles ahead of the rest of the squadron. And you flip it over towards Encore, everybody's doing kind of what they need to. I guess Azza is a little bit down, but there's a lot more weight in calling.
His role's different.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, he's wanting to set up the rest of the team, and that's exactly what he's been doing, where Not Greyhound have just not looked all on the same page so far this map.
Oh, another pause here. make sure everything gets in order for Not Greyhound, as if they do drop this one, you know, they have to go in with a save. They don't have any money to go in with a proper purchase, so it would be expected to shape up to be 15 for Encore. And then you have to think about 9 rounds in a row on the T side to get in towards overtime. Certainly going to be difficult.
Just not a good position to be in. Not at all. Alistair clearly having some issues as well. Bit of a rough time, you know, and all this pressure as well. Not Greyhound leading into the next leg of competition in DreamHack. That's going to be ESL Challenger Melbourne. Very much looking forward to that one next weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I do believe.
Oh, and it's
on
also
stage. Vertex there as well. 8 teams. International presence.
It is the Asia RMR that gets played at PAX, right? Is that the one? So it's the 4, like the winner of this, and then the winner of like the Asia, China, and Middle East qual. Is that the one that's getting played at PAX?
I'm not sure. I thought it was just local competition, but maybe. That'd be cool.
At least I think it was like the teams that get to go to Rio get played at PAX.
Oh,
I think.
If that's the case, that's awesome. Very, very cool opportunity for some Australian viewership. Well, we shall see.
Yes, this pause is taking a little bit longer. No word from the admin squad just yet. So we're presuming it might just be a player and maybe just DC'd or needs to restart or something like that.
Yeah, a little bit rough. Technical issues always do sort of break any momentum. The mental game can be quite challenging and frustrating. So, again, as we're sort of leading into the ESL Challenger event, ATS will be playing for the Not Greyhound side as opposed to Vexite. I believe that was due to roster lock and Vexite qualifying with Vertex, I believe was the exact reason. But then, as a result of that, I'm not actually sure who's going to be playing on Vertex. So,
look, we'll wait and see. It'll be a good surprise to kind of see how that all unfolds.
I think
and I think for the public as well, it's a good surprise that Gratisfaction and Nazza, right, coming on towards this Encore roster. They only found out about it like last night was the announcement. So
yeah, last night the tweet went out, and even for the Gratisfaction thing, you know, that had only been in the process for a short time. So clearly some strings have been pulled in the background, and you know, now we actually again get to start to see this rise in domestic competition. And I think you know, if anything, that should hopefully excite the rest of the domestic market, knowing that there's going to be good teams to prac against as well.
Yeah.
Would assume that we're going to see Encore spending plenty of time overseas as well.
Well, it'll be great to see a quote balance of, you know, our best rosters over there. But we'll have to wait and see. The time's ticking on down. We're back in towards the live round, Mitch. It's the Pistols as we're expecting to come through for Not Greyhound, and for Encore, the chance to find a clean round here, have a bit of extra cash in case some rounds go to Not Greyhound, but ultimately chasing that number 15.
Great early pick already. Azza finding that one straight onto Alistair. They are close. Flash ready to go through the smoke. Vexite gets one. Ooh. And a second. Very, very good with the flash there from Inns. Liaz getting a trade as well. Into a 2-on-2. The rotation is nice and quick though from Savage. Rifle picked up from Inns. It's an AWP, but Liaz gets caught by Savage. Now it has to be this 1 versus 2. Molotov goes down on towards the site as well. Inns has so much work to do.
But it's such a plausible round.
Great utility trading onto A, but yeah, it's tough now.
Such a plausible round. You think it's just the Pistols, the rush A attempts from Not Greyhound, Mitch, an AWP retrieved. It's not Inns' most star-studded weapon, but with no armor behind yourself, it probably is the weapon that you want. I do love this tower boost from Encore. No sound made. Oh. There's a chance for Inns here on this walkout. He's missed the shot though. And there's the 15th for Encore.
But another position, you know, even if Inns had have landed the shot, there would have been a trade there. Hazard and Savage looking absolutely fantastic. Like Savage's rather scoreline 20-8. You know, he has just been playing fantastically. Team's been setting him up very, very nicely. You know, everyone kind of doing their part, it would feel. Whereas now we finally do get to see that AWP come in for Alistair. It is Glass Cannon. Sterling still looking like it is going to be that primary AWP for him. Grat You know, my opinion, still, like, from what I've witnessed, right? Sterling a little bit better on the AWP than he is on the rifle. Gratisfaction can pick up the rifle. We'll see that double up, I'm sure, on certain maps. Time will tell, but Sterling also taken low at the start. Liaz is going to be dunked by that nade. There's 3 here, though, Komodo. It's going to be tough. Vexite straight through. It's an awkward one. Grant, no, with the line. Yes, it does. There he goes. Vexite, a big power play from the young gun. And not Greyhound finally find the side here, 4-on-2. This should just be a save for Encore.
That is an immense spray to come through from Vexite just there. 3 kills in the end with some perfect assistive flashes from the rest of the team as well. And that's exactly how you want to be getting around back on the board as a team, making sure that you've got all those fundamentals laid down for a great little A take. You know, they got in with the pistols in the previous round. They were just shy away from being able to close out that round. This time they've been able to close it. But as I make mention to previously, Mitch, Encore on this CT side, you know, they need to still be balancing out that economy. Like, trying to survive with everybody in the previous round would have been better for them. They survived with 2, and now they're looking to take 2 into this next round as well, where taking this M4 and the AK, we'll see some drops from Savage. So we should still see a comfortable purchase to come through from Encore.
And I've just received confirmation as well that it will be the Asia RMR played at PAX.
Yep, so we'll see the winner of the OCE one here, and then all the other regions. So we're looking at teams like IHC, NKT, Tyloo, Wings Up, you know, Linvision, I think, is as well playing through one of them. So lots of big team names, a chance to get towards that Rio event, who we'll see come over towards the Aussie land. So that's going to be very exciting.
Imagine Urcast back on Australian stage?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. True.
Yeah, NKT, yeah. That's a nice little roster sort of coming along. Short stint in Valorant, now he's back. Looking good.
Oh, that's some punishment onto Vexite.
Very important pick.
Yeah, not even through the smoke as well. So it just goes to show its utility usage can be pretty potent and detriment to land correctly as well. I'm not sure if the top of the ramp one there was thrown by Not Greyhound from the T-spawn. Generally is one that you'd be throwing, but regardless. Alistair able to get one back with one third person as Alistair finds another one on towards Grat.
Good picks. Very important now. 4 versus 3. They will still have to find the site. Still much more work to be done with a minute left on the clock. Encore, again, you know, leaning into this conversation we've had about how they seem to be much more comfortable to play around the map, to play into those extremities where you need to try and take CT side of control, and they've been locking out Not Greyhound every single time, having to push through. So, smoke does go down. We'll start to walk their way up towards the side here. Inns at the helm. Liaz not too far behind as well. Sicko with bomb in hand. Azza is in position. He's already locked in just around the corner, so 30 seconds to go here, Komodo. Are they going to be able to find this plan?
There's no damaging utility from Encore anymore, only the assistive variety. Another smoke to try and buy some time, a couple of flashes.
Molotov up, should be able to force Hazza off the line. Ticking damage, gets aggressive over the top. Oh, it's really tight. It's really awkward. Hang on. Got to be careful now, Komodo. Hazza, he's dropped the bomb. He's dropped it. 8 seconds, no time at all. This was a 2-on-4. And Hazza has just absolutely sent Not Greyhound packing. What is happening?
Well, that is certainly one way to end the game in the end there. And because my camera has just turned off, as I am very good at this thing, I will fix that right now. We've been plagued by stuff. Also, I did investigate from what some people gave towards us as a couple of FPS issues. It seems to be fixed, or at least confirmed that it wasn't on our end. This camera